So I'm here with Garreth Bloor at the Nassau Airport. We're leaving a conference that we met each other at here together, and I thought it'd be interesting for our Power Blog readers to get a sense of who Garreth is, what the situation's like in South Africa, and what he views the relationship between faith and public life is. So, Garreth, can you give us a little introduction? What's going on with your life right now in South Africa?
Well, absolutely. I'm currently running for the City Council, which is a part-time position in South Africa. Effectively, you could say these elections are the equivalent of our midterms. People elect local representatives to their city or town councils, and effectively then it really happens that in 2 years' time there's a national election with your sort of national-related issues. Now, the interesting thing in a place like South Africa is there's a huge amount of respect for faith, and religious communities do play a large role and have done so historically. So the interesting relationship with the Acton Institute really relates to how we engage those religious communities in meeting national challenges, but at the local city level and at the local town council level, and really connecting sound economics into this debate as to how we move forward and develop the country.
Okay, excellent. So can you give me some examples of some of the projects that you've been involved in? Are there things, well, either politically or in the what you'd call the civil society sector that you're particularly excited about? What are the challenges that are facing South Africa? Yeah,
I think overwhelmingly the involvement has been at civil society, and even to a large extent this particular role is more focused on civil society if you compare it to other quote-unquote political positions or offices in South Africa. Some of the projects to date have been actually just really providing information through a small think tank group that I set up at my university.
Okay.
We screened the call of the entrepreneur, which was subsequently taken around the rest of the country by various other students who heard about it. We've also provided information through CDs like Ideas for a Free Society. It provides a fantastic collection of writings ranging from folks thousands of years ago to contemporary thinkers on exactly how you promote a free and virtuous society. Other aspects that have been more pragmatic or more practical have been microloans. We've got an initiative running in Khayelitsha. It is our second largest township in the country. It's located in my city of Cape Town. And we've really been looking at how we can use that microfinance initiative to allow people to see the power of access to capital within the right institutional framework. And so far that has been quite successful. We had, at the latest count, a 92% repayment rate.
Excellent.
Which I think is fairly remarkable, given that these are all individuals that the conventional banks at the moment are saying are either too high risk or just it's too much money to kind of invest in them at the start. So we're quite happy about that. We think, if anything, that can provide a good model of better things to come. But we do understand, and I think here's the critical thing, that success here cannot happen outside the right institutional framework. And so that's why a broader focus needs to consistently be oriented on things like the rule of law, on the constitution, on just realities like the importance of the family structure, the importance of local community organizations. These all play a fundamental role in this broader question of enterprise.
So, Garreth, to follow up on that, are there any particular stories you'd like to highlight from your experience with microfinance and microlending that you think are success stories, that models of what could be possible?
Well, absolutely. There are a growing number that are actually emerging. The one that stands out at the moment is a lady we called Mama Africa, or at least that's how she was known in the community. And this particular lady was a domestic worker, someone who's actually just become a recent grandmother too. And her whole life essentially was obviously focused on working as a maid, as it's sort of crudely termed in South Africa by some. And she was fantastic in cooking, and she had a great ability to make things that were quite enjoyed across the community. But she had the problem of not having the time, number one, and not having the resources or the premises to actually make these things en masse. And with the microloan that she received, she was able to start renting a caravan. And subsequently, after 3 months, she's now doing this full time. She's got 2 other people she employs on a permanent basis. And really, she's now a business owner. She's an entrepreneur, where previously they really didn't look like, according to the conventional wisdom, that there was much that she could have in her life, given her age and also given her level of education. So I think that speaks to the entrepreneurial spirit and the fact that there is an enormous amount of creativity that is latent and that can come to the fore if we put the right structures in place and we have the right sort of cultural foundation too that respects enterprise and appreciates the sort of virtue in these kinds of commercial endeavors. Obviously it's being other-centeredness, it's being concerned with meeting needs in the market, and it's really just understanding the customer and the consumer. And I have no doubt she's going to see some fairly significant contracts actually roll in if she carries on at the rate of success that she's achieved so far. But I mean, there's one interesting book, if I may, and
yeah,
I don't work for the publishers, but I do want to say that the Independent Institute out in San Francisco has just brought out a great book, Lessons from the Poor, And if there's anything that you want to sort of understand in a place like South Africa or any emerging market, it's that the kind of creativity you see here is certainly almost dormant in so many people. And if we get the right infrastructure and institutional framework in place, I certainly think we'll see more of these stories. I mean, the research is resounding that small enterprise and small to medium-sized business are going to drive economic growth in a lot of these countries. And so I'd highly recommend this book. I just actually did a review for the Journal of Entrepreneurship and Public Policy.
Excellent.
Just to give folks perhaps outside emerging markets a sort of a taste of what is possible, because I think there's a lot of reason to be very optimistic, especially in the midst of what seem to be some dull thoughts given the failure of foreign aid, the failure of top-down structures. I think the solutions are starting to emerge, and they're emerging well.